I don't know what it is about the girls with guns genre of anime, but it's always appealing and there's plenty to choose from. After checking out Dirty Pair last time, I was reminded of a series that I loved growing up, a series that I think is very underrated, Noir. Noir is one of the few series I watched that wasn't on TV growing up. I just kind of, on a whim, I thought it looked cool. I picked up the first DVD and I got hooked, and I picked up the rest of the series over time. I was not disappointed. It was a great series, and I thought it was time to revisit it because I had forgotten so much about it. It's not perfect, but I think that it is well worth watching. So Noir is a 2001 series. It was an original anime series, and it follows two female assassins. There's Mireyu, or I think it's Mireille in English. I don't know because I watched it subbed. But Mireyu, she's kind of this solo gun-for-hire assassin, and one day she gets this mysterious message from this girl, Kirika. She goes to meet up with Kirika, and it turns out there are a bunch of men trying to kill her. Trying and failing because Kirika is this cold-blooded killer herself, and she's like this high school student, but she's got all these people trying to kill her, and she's able to kill them so easily and without emotion, but she doesn't know why. She has no memory, she doesn't know who she is or where she came from. Why are people trying to kill her? Why is she able to do the things that she can do? It's a big old mystery. And Mireyu does not care. She is not interested in helping her, except for the fact that Kirika has a very special pocket watch. And it plays a very haunting song, and it takes Mireyu back to the day her parents were murdered when she was a very young child. Her father had a pocket watch just like it, and it was there on the floor playing this haunting song when she discovered their dead bodies. So, it seems that this mysterious girl is somehow connected with her and she wants answers, so she begrudgingly takes her in and they become partners for now, but she says she's gonna kill her when they're done, and I never quite understood that, but it's interesting. That's the setup. Now, the first several episodes of the series, we kind of see the two of them taking on jobs, carrying out assassinations, killing mostly bad people, but sometimes it's a little bit of a gray area, and sometimes it's a little bit heart-wrenching and disappointing, but there is some character development and some kind of moral dilemmas to kind of think about here. I'm not going to talk about anything that happens later on in the story, but I will just say that things get crazy toward the end. This thing gets a lot more interesting as you go on. We see some new characters emerge in later episodes that are very cool and very interesting and mysterious, and the story just fleshes out towards the end, and it is amazing. It ends on a very high note, I will just say that much. I was having my doubts at times, and then I saw the finale and I'm like, yes, this is why I love this series so much. I remember now, this is amazing. This is one of the most stylish anime series I've ever watched. The action sequences are so stunning visually. The whole style, I mean, it's called Noir, and it really tries to encapsulate those classic film noir techniques, not only visually, but also in terms of storytelling and mood. Very dark, very serious in tone, and it makes really heavy use of shadows and very cool kind of visual techniques. It holds up very well today stylistically and artistically. Even though this is over 20 years old now, it still looks great. I mean, there are certain scenes where maybe you notice nobody in the background is moving, or you see still shots, close-ups of people's faces, and it kind of just seems like, okay, yeah, they didn't animate this, they could have, but maybe they wanted to save money or something, but those are kind of few and far between. Overall, it's a beautiful anime, animated very well, beautiful environments and backgrounds, and just very cool use of light and darkness, and those action sequences are just something else. They are very, very cool. Even the opening credits, they look like something that could be out of a James Bond movie, like the intro for a Bond movie, accompanied with some great music. That's the next thing I want to talk about, is the music in this series. The music is phenomenal. From that opening theme, which is so catchy, to the ending theme, which is sung by, I'm forgetting her name, but she's a very familiar voice, very nostalgic voice. She did the ending themes for Outlaw Star and a whole bunch of other anime. An iconic voice. If you hear it, if you've heard it before, it's instantly recognizable. But then you have all the kind of incidental music, which is fitting for the setting of the show. You have kind of like what I would imagine to be traditional European music, very acoustic instruments, because this is set in France for the most part. And so it's all very fitting, but best of all is the battle theme. And this is sort of like an operatic techno track. And every time you hear that theme starting up, you just know things are about to go down. It just is such a cool theme. It sticks in my head. It just gets your heart pumping. It's got that tempo. The studio who did the music also did Hack Sign and Tsubasa Chronicle and a number of other animes. It's just so good, man. Lots to love about this series. The characters are interesting. Sometimes they'll make you mad. Sometimes they'll really frustrate you. I had forgotten a lot of this, and Mireu's character was really irritating me at some points. I was like, where's the character development? What's going on here? I hate this character. I don't remember hating this character. But by the end of it, I was like, okay, I forgive you. Of course, Kirika, we want to figure out, we want to find out more about her past, and we want to find out what's going on, who are these people who are trying to get them. And things just get crazy, man. It is written very well. It's a very kind of unique setting. You might think it's a little cliche at first, and sure, there are some cliches, there are some familiar elements that we've seen in other stories, but overall, man, it was really well done. It was really interesting. The villains, the kind of organizations they're going up against, some very unique stuff. Those characters who are kind of borderline, you don't know if they're good or bad, you don't know what to think about them. And all throughout, we just see some of the coolest action sequences ever. So many cool gunfights and knife fights, and the character Chloe, who's so cool, and she comes in later in the series. I'm not going to talk about it too much, but she is in the opening credits, and she doesn't use guns like everybody else. She uses blades, throwing knives. Yeah, she brings a knife to a gunfight, and she wins every time. It's so cool. Oddly though, there's like no blood in this show, so that kind of detracts from these action sequences, which otherwise would be so kind of brutal and visceral. But sometimes it's like people are getting shots and it feels like there's no impact. It's like, wait, did this person die? Did this person just get shot in the face or not? Because I can't tell. There's no damage that you can see. There's no blood flashing across the screen. I don't know what's going on here. It was a weird choice not to have any blood in these crazy gunfights and knife fights and stuff, but maybe they wanted this to reach a broader audience. I think Japan is a little bit more strict on blood than over here in the United States, whereas we're more strict about like nudity and things, and they're not so much. And there's very little of that in here too. There's like practically no fan service in this show. It's very strictly business. Very serious, dramatic. They don't use those tactics, even though this is a girls with guns anime. They really pull you in with the great writing and the dynamic characters and the cool action scenes. Just so much style visually and audibly with that great soundtrack. So much to rave about here, but I mean, there are some things I didn't care for besides the characters getting on my nerves. We see some of that kind of stormtrooper syndrome with the bad guys, where the bad guys just can't seem to aim their guns for crap, whereas our heroes are like Deadeye and like can hit any target from a mile away kind of thing. And then so many times our heroes just make stupid decisions, and we see people doing things that don't make any sense. I think one of my biggest complaints is just the number of flashbacks. In the very first episode, we get a flashback to a scene from earlier on in the episode. They make a lot of heavy use of flashbacks, especially early on in the series. The more you go on, the closer you get to the end, the less of these flashbacks you see. But man, I was getting so tired of seeing that same recycled footage over and over again. I know it was for impact. It just felt lazy to me though. It's the same flashback where we're seeing this same footage over and over again. And it's not like we're seeing a little bit more each time or something. It's just the same thing. I'm like doing a face palm. Like, do I really have to see this again? But overall, I really enjoyed watching this again. I loved it the first time, probably around 20 years ago, and that's scary to say, but I think it's very underrated, and a lot of people don't know about it. Maybe people have forgotten about it. It is on Crunchyroll. You can watch it a number of other places right now. I do recommend checking it out. Yeah, Crunchyroll. It's highly rated, but with very few ratings, and some of the episodes still don't have any comments on them. That's how unknown and unwatched this thing is. Definitely needs some more love. What I didn't know until I was actually kind of reading up on this a little bit for this video is that this was the first of 3 Girls with Guns animes from this studio. They wanted to do like a trilogy of Girls with Guns anime series, all in different styles. So this one is the film noir type style. The second one is called Madlax. Hold on, I gotta look this up because I have not watched these yet. Yeah, the second one is called Madlax. It seems like more of a war kind of setting, but with some clear similarities to noir. And then the third one is El Cazador de la Bruja. Excuse my accent. This one takes place in Texas. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, again, just glancing at the plots here, strong similarities with the other series. So spiritual successors, similar themes, but different settings, different characters. Very interesting. I don't know where to watch these. I think you can maybe see them unofficially on YouTube, but Noir, you can see it anywhere. Very underrated series though, highly recommended. Not perfect, but still pretty amazing. Let me know if you've seen this one. What are your thoughts on it? And yeah, I'm excited to check out those other series. Thank you for watching. Appreciate everybody who's been watching and supporting the channel. You are the best. So have a great day. I will see you next time. Take care.